Austin Shiflett did his presentation on public speaking, so he's going to be our MC for the remainder of the program, because he is much more eloquent than I am. So Austin Shiflett is introduced to Julia.
I'm not sure why she said eloquent, because I'm just supposed to read her name. But we have JKarnes is presenting next on Trigger Point Training.
This is just like the one in the forward backward pointer.
Hi, my name is JKarnes, and I did my senior project on physical therapy and trigger point dry needling. I play soccer, so I've gotten hurt a lot, and I've been fascinated with the way my body has healed itself, which led me to take the class sports medicine my sophomore year of high school, and I learned about how magnificently complex the body is. The following year, I got to take advanced sports medicine, where I got to work on the sidelines of sporting events with my high school athletic trainer. And one time, a athlete got hit right in the nose with a basketball and bled everywhere, and I was vomited. So I realized that sports medicine was not going to be my career path. So I knew I wanted to go into something in the medical field and something that was like sports medicine. So I chose physical therapy because it's basically sports medicine without the blood, and it's all about rehabilitation, which was my favorite part of sports medicine anyways. This led me to my internship at Spectrum Physical Therapy, which led me to my thesis topic of trigger point dry needling and my community service at All-Care Nursing Home. Here's a picture of me and my mentor, Mr. Darcy Higgins, at Spectrum Physical Therapy in Rockersville, Virginia. I did a total of 50 hours with Mr. Higgins. I got to learn many different things. I got to see Mr. Higgins perform manual therapy, which is massage therapy, and then trigger point dry needling, which is needling therapy, along with therapeutic exercises and stretching. And the exercises and stretching varies between patients and ranges along many different difficulties. People who have gotten their shoulder, had surgery on their shoulder, would do more stretches in like a door frame and strengthening exercises with their shoulder. But I saw a man who was recovering from an ACL tear, and his drills were a lot like cone drills, and it was to increase his stability and strengthen his knee back up. One of the most important things I learned from Mr. Higgins was that how to evaluate a patient. There are many different new people coming in, and it was crazy to me how he could ask just a few questions and know exactly what happened, how to fix it, and how long it would take. It was something that I wouldn't know without being in the field, and I'm glad I got to learn it at such an early point in my life opposed to other people in college who were studying the same thing. One of the most interesting things I saw Mr. Higgins do was trigger point dry needling. Here's a picture of it. This man suffers from chronic pain in his shoulders, neck, and back, and that is why there's needles there. The point of trigger point dry needling is to get out the trigger points or tight spots in the muscle. The needle goes into the muscle and causes it to spasm, which is actually releasing it or making it untight. And while this is happening, it's neurologically resetting the muscle so basically the muscle is learning not to get tight again. The goal is for the chronic pain never to come back, meaning that the muscle will never cramp again. This ranges from, depending on the person, it could take many sessions, it could take one session, depends on how long the person's been suffering from chronic pain. And the length of the session also depends on the person as well. This woman suffers from chronic pain in her lower leg, and attached to the needles is two wires, which is attached to a box, which is an electric stimulator. And when turned on, electricity goes through the two cords into the needle into the muscle. This electricity is very minute, but it makes the muscle spasm faster, making the release come quicker or the untightening come quicker, and makes the pain-free last longer. The electricity also makes the trigger point dry needling more effective than manual therapy, which is the most common technique, and more efficient. So Mr. Higgins has had tremendous success with this technique. I saw many patients who were being released from physical therapy who had been suffering from chronic pain for 2 years due to trigger point dry needling. But he's the only person within 30 minutes to perform this technique. I know there's a physical therapist within 5 minutes of him, but they aren't performing this. He's even had his visits increase because of it. So I wondered why, and this led me to my thesis topic. 10.6 million people currently suffer from chronic pain in the United States, according to the Journal of Pain Medicine, and these people could easily be helped with trigger point dry needling. So why aren't more therapists certified? There are people, it's commonly practiced in Europe and Africa, but it hasn't really caught on in the United States. So my thesis question was, should physical therapy practices incorporate the technique of trigger point dry needling? Because if they aren't now, there has to be a reason. Well, I found that safety was a big concern and unawareness. People just don't know about it. Therapists don't know about it. With the safety, it's a really safe technique, actually. The needles are only the diameter of a hair, and I found that at Spectrum, when people were being needled, they didn't even realize the needles were in their body. They felt the muscle spasming, and when the muscle would release, they wouldn't even realize the needles were in them. And the only side effect is a dime-sized bruise, and that doesn't always happen. With manual therapy, there is a definite bruise and definite soreness. The trigger point dry needling eliminates that step, meaning that the rehab process is quicker. Since people don't know about it and therapists don't know about it, I said that the Department of Health should conduct studies with this 10.6 million that are suffering to show the effectiveness, the safety, and just make it more aware to the general public and more specifically therapists. It wouldn't cost much to conduct these studies because all you need is the needles and there's already people to test on. You don't have to have an electric stimulator, and that would be the most of the money. And if the Department of Health did conduct these studies, it would show the physical therapists and it would cause them to become certified, helping more than 10.6 million. I also found that acupuncturists were a big issue for trigger point dry needling and physical therapists. The picture is physical therapist trigger point dry needling needles. And there has to be clarification because before Myotech came out with this line of needles, they were using acupuncturist needles. And this was just one of the things that acupuncturists were taking to the government and lobbying them to try to restrict physical therapists or prohibit them completely from becoming certified. And acupuncturists make the claim that therapists aren't trained enough, they don't have enough knowledge, don't go to school long enough, they're the same profession. But none of that's true. Therapists go to school for 7 years, get their doctorate before they can ever touch a needle, just like acupuncturists. They go to school and learn all about the body, all about the muscles, all about the nerves, so they have the knowledge to do this. And it's not the same profession either. Acupuncturists are paying more attention to your chi and prime meridians and relaxation when therapists are honing in on your trigger point and neurologically resetting your muscle. Acupuncturists also don't use electric stimulators like physical therapy does. So to fix this, I said that the government should in turn actually create laws to protect physical therapists' rights so that way they can become certified, and along with the studies that are conducted by the Department of Health, more than will become certified, in turn helping the 10.6 million. Therapists do have enough knowledge, they do have to go through the training, and they wouldn't be able to become certified until after their physical therapist or doctorate. So they would go to the course, which involves a written exam, a palpation exam, and they are actually the patient while becoming certified. So they know what it feels like. They're just as skilled as acupuncturists. I do my community service at Autumn Care Nursing Home and Rehabilitation in Madison, Virginia. I did a total of 12 hours with physical therapist Vanessa Ward. I worked with physical therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, and nurses, and all their assistants. It was like one big community looking to make the patients feel better and feel more at home at Autumn Care. Even though I worked in the therapy wing, I found myself doing more occupational things opposed to physical therapy things. I adjusted seat cushions, wheelchair heights, walker heights, and I wheeled a lot of patients to and from their rooms. But when I was working with the physical therapist, I did help lead patients through exercises. But these exercises were very different from the ones at Spectrum. They were more practical to the elderly and included things like getting from a wheelchair to a bed or stepping up in height while in a walker. And it was to stimulate what was at home or their home. So that way when they could do these exercises, they could prove to therapists that they could go home and live there again, opposed to living in the nursing home, because not all patients at the nursing home are permanent residents. Ms. Ward taught me a lot, and even though I found that geriatrics wasn't going to be my pursued passion in physical therapy, I did learn how the body changes over time. And it was a different side of physical therapy than I'd seen at Spectrum. The body doesn't recover as well, doesn't heal as fast, just because of age. And she also helped me decide my legacy topic. This is a picture of me doing yoga in a chair. And that might seem a little weird, but that was what my legacy was. I created 15 different poses that can be done from a chair, which simulates a wheelchair, in the nursing home, and I titled it Wheelchair Yoga, and I ended up teaching it at the nursing home. It lasted about 30 minutes, and I did it on 2 different days. The second day was almost all the same people from the first, showing that they enjoyed it, and there was around 20 to 30 people each time. I couldn't take pictures with the patients because of privacy issues, but this is me on one of the days teaching wheelchair yoga. And on the second day, I asked the patients if they liked it, if they enjoyed it, if they would do it again. And they said yes. So I left the program with the activities director at Autumn Care, and they're still implementing the program today. So that means that I'm still helping people and making them feel better. And the goal is to make them feel more flexible and more relaxed, helping them with their physical therapy that they go to 2 to 3 times a week. Next year, I'll be attending Shenandoah University in Winchester, Virginia. I'll be playing soccer as well as studying exercise science. And I have a lot to thank for my internship because of the 50 hours I did, I was allowed to apply to Shenandoah's Guaranteed Admissions program for their doctorate or program of physical therapy. I was one of 10 to be accepted. So right now, I'm already in graduate school. If I keep my grades up, I never have to apply again, and I will go straight into Shenandoah's program. With it also comes a fast track program where there's only 3 years of undergrad instead of 4, so I'm saving myself time and money. I can't wait to start my collegiate career as well as get into the workforce. To the rising seniors, not only do I say do your internship over the summer, but pick something you want to do with your life. Pick a career that you want to pursue, because a lot of college students end up changing their major, which costs them time and money. If you choose a job or an internship that will reflect what you want to do, you can see if you really like it. I was worried I was going to hate physical therapy, but I ended up loving it. And I ended up saving myself even more time and money. This senior project has taught me a lot, and I'm really glad that I did my internship with Spectrum. If you capitalize on the opportunities given to you, this can be the best part of your senior year. Are there any questions? Yes.
Is wheelchair yoga something you came up with?
Yes.
Something?
Yeah, it was. When I was talking to Ms. Ward, I was asking her things that what didn't Autumn Care already have, because they have activities and stuff like that. And so she was saying to implement an activity that was something with exercise that would help them with their therapy, but wasn't there to be more enjoyable because a lot of patients don't like their therapy. But so I was looking on the internet for things to do, and I found out there was something called wheelchair yoga, and I was like, what is wheelchair yoga? But I came up with the exercise or the stretches myself, and I chose how long the patients would do it, and I printed it out and then gave it to the activity director.
Very nice. Is muscle massage versus dry needle, is that choice given to patients? Or
Yes.
It is?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it becoming more prevalent with dry needle than massage?
Yes, it is. Basically, every therapist will do massage needling if you're doing at a place like Spectrum with a range of ages. But trigger point dry needling is taking more prevalence. It just depends on the therapist, because therapists don't know about it and they're afraid to become certified.
Would you advocate physical therapy, the training program
Yeah, I think that would be great because then all the people coming out of college and stuff like that would know about it, and then they would get certified, and then they would do it more, helping whoever or something like that.
Do you know how many schools that do that already?
I don't know, but I don't think so as well. Yes.
Do you have any statistics on how effective it is on fibromyalgia and other chronic pain as far as success rates?
I did see a study on fibromyalgia, and it was effective. And in most of the studies, they would compare trigger point dry needling and acupuncture, and trigger point dry needling was always more effective than acupuncture because of the electrostimulation and stuff like that. Yes.
You said there's not an awareness of the trigger point dry needling like there is with the manual therapy. Did you find or know if that kind of carries over to insurance companies? Are they covering it like they would cover the manual therapies?
Yeah, I did. At Spectrum, I did hear a little bit about that from Mr. Pickens about how they weren't sure if the insurance was going to cover it, so they just opted out of it. So having the studies conducted would also show the insurance agencies that they should cover it. It is safe and effective.
Okay, thank you.